Hi, how are you doing? I thought what we would do would be able to update you on the local plan, the one that has been in train for some time, and unfortunately I'm not able to because, would you believe, as a result of the general election and apparently the inspector looking to pause, this timetable here isn't being met because what should have happened by December 2019 should have been the adoption of the new the second plan. So we're still waiting for that to make some meaningful responses to what changes he may have asked to be made. One of the big areas during the course of the inspection by the inspector was the concern about the logistic part that Trinity College wished to locate the wrong side of the dual carriageway at Innocents Farm out at Curtin. He did ask a number of searching questions to those presenting the case for that happening, which he didn't certainly seem to get satisfactory responses to. So that may well be a part of the reason there's a hold on that in its entirety. But something I would like to bring to your attention is I attended a meeting of the Felixstowe and District Sports Council at the beginning of this week, and we had a presentation by a gentleman called Tim Snook, who is the Commercial Contracts Manager for the East Suffolk Council, and he came to update us on what may be happening with regards to leisure and sports facility in our town. Some of you may be aware that there has been a move, apparently driven by the cost of operating two separate sites to combine both the sports facility and the leisure swimming pool, bowling green and another onto one site. And the claim by the council is that the joint operational cost of those two sites is £360,000 per year. They haven't said actually how much they will save when they put it all onto one site. It may actually be similar to the supposed savings we were going to have by having less councillors covering bigger areas, though I note that their recent pay increases negate most of that saving. But there you go, what you're told and what you get tends to be somewhat different things. But coming back specifically to the combining of the two things, the site for the combined site is, if you can see that, I don't know, hopefully we can put that up so you can see it a bit better and study it somewhat more, is an area that you would access east of the Doxborough roundabout coming off Candlett Road. So whether that would be tied in with the current planning application that's been put in on that land, it may well be that a new roundabout would be incorporated. It would feed both directions off that road. Now the intent is that they would rebuild the swimming pool up there, as well as all the sports facilities. And at the meeting of the council there were a number of voices questioning why in a seaside resort you would locate your swimming pool away from your seafront. I was one of those voices. I really cannot see the fact that you built, not that long ago, 30 years or so, a brand new leisure pool with lots of other activities, and you, if you've lived here a while, may remember that we were told that it was something that the A14, which was at that time in the process of being built, would have actually shoveled a huge number of weekend tourists into here from Cambridge and Bury and everywhere in the world, it would appear. That was a justification for spending in excess, I think, of £3 million on building a leisure centre in the position that it was, in the form that it is. And I think we would all agree that it's a very poor design. It really doesn't make best use of the site that it's placed in, but it does have a swimming pool, and that's what people come to the seaside to do, is to have a swim. Now, the original discussion on this, which was 18 months, 2 years ago now, was that there would be a sum of 20 odd million and an acreage of 20 odd acres, etc., etc. That seems to have been reduced and reduced since the original discussion was had. How much it will be available and how big is still to be determined. The Tim said that they are working now, because they've gone to consultation, they've been endorsed by the cabinet that they move forward on this scheme. They are working on the plans, but what he did say, which is rather a shame, I thought, was that none of this will be shared with you, the council taxpayer, until they've agreed both the land and the design. And it struck me as a bit odd that what will be accommodated in this combined site won't be clear until it's a bit like the EU negotiation. None of it's done until all of it's done, which is, I think, to apply that to local leisure centre facilities, it isn't particularly informative or a good way of engaging the community. Now, my view is that if you were to spend a proportion of the money that's deemed to be doing for the rebuild or the new build for the sports facilities, if we were to use a proportion of that and make the leisure centre much more self-sustaining, like, why isn't it covered with solar panels? I mean, I find it amazing that you've got that roof area that actually functions as nothing else but a roof. And equally, if you wanted to make it more sustainable, surely you would use the frontage onto the seafront for commercial activity, which you could lease out, and it wouldn't involve the council in running anything but just take the rental fees. So I really think they need to look at this in much more depth, and you, the public, who will be paying for it one way or the other, we really should get a better deal than we got when they gave us the original leisure centre, which was really going to up the game for Felixstowe. And I think we could probably all agree it singularly failed to do it then, back in the 80s. Let's hope we don't repeat the mistake in the 2020s. Okay, bye for now.